Have you ever met a man who seemed so connected to you at first? The kind who texts you every morning, remembers small details, and looks at you like you're the only woman in the room. But then, suddenly, something changes. He becomes distant, cold. You start to feel like you're chasing his attention, like you did something wrong. But deep down, you know you didn't. He just switched off. It's confusing, isn't it? Because you didn't change. You were still the same woman, still kind, still present. But the truth is, he wasn't really off. He just never reached the point of real emotional attachment. And most women don't know this, but men only fall deeply in love when two invisible switches are activated inside their minds. These switches have nothing to do with looks, body, or how nice you are. In fact, they have almost nothing to do with logic at all. They are psychological triggers that speak directly to a man's subconscious. And once they're flipped, he starts seeing you differently. He starts craving your presence. He starts respecting you, fearing to lose you, and even changing his own behavior to be worthy of your attention. But here's the problem. Most women never learn how to trigger them. Instead, they try to win a man's heart by doing everything for him, being available, patient, and caring, thinking that if they show how much they care, he'll finally see their value. But that's not how male psychology works. The more a man feels that your world revolves around him, the less he feels the need to fight for you. A man's emotional world is built on challenge, admiration, and the feeling that he earned your affection. That's why he can be completely obsessed with a woman who isn't even the most beautiful, yet feel bored with one who gives him everything easily. There's something deeper, invisible, that keeps his mind hooked and his heart involved. And when you understand those two invisible switches and how to awaken them naturally, everything changes. You'll stop wondering why some men lose interest. You'll stop trying to prove your worth, because once you know how to activate these emotional triggers, he'll start doing the chasing. He'll be the one thinking about you all day, wondering what you're doing, feeling lucky to have you. So before you start believing that he just wasn't ready, or that he doesn't do relationships, I want you to know, his heart has a structure. It's not random. Every man, no matter how independent, mature, or emotionally closed he seems, responds to these two triggers when the right woman activates them. The first one makes him feel emotionally safe, but not in the way you might think. It's not about constant reassurance or attention. It's about something much more subtle, the way you make him feel seen, but not controlled. The second one ignites his natural instinct to protect, pursue, and commit. It awakens a deep sense of masculine purpose, the desire to rise up for the woman who inspires him. And when these two switches turn on together, something incredible happens. He can't explain it, but he feels drawn to you. You become the woman he thinks about before he falls asleep, the woman he imagines building a future with, the one he doesn't want to lose. So if you've ever found yourself asking, why do men lose interest after getting close? Or, why does he act distant even when I give him everything? Stay with me until the end of this video. Because once you understand how these two invisible switches work, you'll finally see that love isn't about luck. It's about understanding how the male mind bonds, attaches, and stays in love. And no, this isn't manipulation. It's awareness. It's learning how to communicate with his emotions in a way that makes sense to him, not to you. Because the truth is, men and women don't fall in love for the same reasons. While women often fall for consistency, care, and emotional connection, men fall when they feel something powerful, a mix of admiration, respect, and emotional safety. That's what we're going to uncover here, step by step. Because once you understand these two invisible triggers and how to use them naturally, you'll no longer chase love, you'll attract it. When a man feels both emotionally challenged and deeply understood, he doesn't just want you, he needs you. And that's when real love begins. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Emma. Emma was intelligent, independent, and kind. The kind of woman who didn't need a man to complete her, but who still longed for a deep, meaningful connection. When she met Daniel, everything seemed different. He was attentive, funny, and made her feel special. They spent hours talking, laughing, and dreaming. For the first time in a long while, she felt safe opening up to someone. In the beginning, Daniel couldn't get enough of her. He texted her first, planned little surprises, introduced her to his friends. He told her she was different from anyone he'd ever met, and she believed it. But then, slowly, the tone started to change. His messages became shorter, the calls less frequent. His attention began to fade, Not completely, just enough to leave her confused. She tried to fix it by being even more available. She cooked for him, complimented him more, and made sure to always be there when he needed her. But the more she gave, the less he seemed to value it. The more she chased closeness, the more distant he became, until one night, after days of silence, Daniel told her he needed space. Emma was heartbroken. She couldn't understand what she had done wrong. She replayed every moment in her mind, every conversation, every text. She thought maybe she had been too emotional, too demanding, or not good enough. But none of that was true. The real problem was invisible. It lived inside Daniel's psychology, inside the way men form attachment. See, when Emma met Daniel, she triggered his curiosity, the spark that makes a man want to know more about a woman. But she didn't trigger the two invisible switches that make that spark grow into something deeper. She made him comfortable, but not captivated, appreciated, but not emotionally invested. Men, just like women, have emotional patterns that decide whether they'll see someone as temporary or as someone worth fighting for. The first invisible switch is about emotional recognition. When a man feels that you understand him at a level most people don't. When he feels seen, not judged. The second switch is about emotional tension, that subtle feeling of unpredictability and mystery that keeps him intrigued. Emma, like many women, gave Daniel total emotional comfort, but no emotional challenge. She made herself too predictable, too available, and too easy to read. Her heart was in the right place. She thought that love meant being transparent, giving her all and never holding back. But to the male mind, that kind of emotional transparency too early removes the sense of pursuit, the feeling that he's earning your trust and admiration. For a man, love doesn't start when he feels desired. It starts when he feels motivated to deserve you, when he feels that your presence elevates him, that your respect isn't given automatically, but earned through his consistency, honesty, and effort. That's when a man begins to fall, not into attraction, but into devotion. And that's what Emma didn't know. After Daniel left, she blamed herself. She thought maybe she should stop being kind, stop caring so much. But that wasn't the answer either. The answer wasn't to become cold or detached. It was to understand balance, to learn how to offer warmth without giving away mystery, to give care without giving control. Months later, Emma met someone new, Mark. This time, she decided to do things differently. She didn't rush to explain herself. She didn't try to prove her worth. She listened more than she spoke. When he complimented her, she smiled but didn't melt instantly. When he asked about her day, she shared, but not everything. She allowed silence to exist. She allowed curiosity to grow. And something fascinating happened. Mark leaned in. He asked deeper questions. He wanted to know more, to understand what she was thinking, what she was feeling. He started planning the dates. He initiated conversations. He began investing emotionally. Emma wasn't playing games, and she was being intentional. She had learned that real feminine power isn't about chasing, fixing, or proving. It's about creating an emotional space that a man wants to step into, not because he's pushed, but because he's drawn. She realized that the two invisible switches weren't about manipulation or tricks. They were about balance, the balance between connection and distance, warmth and mystery, comfort and challenge. And when she found that balance, everything changed. Mark didn't just fall for her, he respected her. He admired the way she carried herself, the calm confidence in her silence, the way she didn't demand attention, yet always held it effortlessly. What Emma learned, and what most women never do, is that love grows in the space between giving and holding back. Men don't fall in love because you're always there. They fall in love when they feel that your presence means something rare, something not easily found. And that's exactly what those two invisible switches do. They make a man feel something he can't explain, but never wants to lose. Because when he feels emotionally seen and challenged at the same time, his brain connects you with meaning, desire, and value. That's when you stop being just another woman in his life and become the woman who changed the way he sees love itself. Now that you've seen what happens when these invisible switches are ignored, let's go deep into how they actually work. Because once you understand them, truly understand them, you'll never look at men the same way again. The first invisible switch is called the recognition trigger. It activates when a man feels emotionally understood without being judged or corrected. This is the foundation of male emotional bonding, and yet, it's the one most women miss entirely. You see, men spend most of their lives being told to be strong, to suppress emotions, to act like everything is fine. Society teaches them that showing vulnerability equals weakness. So when they meet a woman who makes them feel seen instead of analyzed, something powerful happens inside them. For the first time, he doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to wear a mask. He can relax around you because you don't demand perfection. You simply recognize his effort. That's when his emotional walls start to drop. But here's the subtle key. This doesn't mean you have to play therapist or constantly reassure him. It's not about always saying, "I understand." It's about how you listen. When you listen with presence instead of pressure, when you make him feel capable instead of flawed, you create emotional safety. And emotional safety, for a man, is rare. When he feels it, his brain releases oxytocin, the same chemical that women release through physical touch and emotional intimacy. That's when he begins to associate you with peace, not comfort in the sense of boredom, but calm in the sense of belonging. However, if a woman overdoes this, by being too nurturing, too available, too forgiving, she risks turning emotional safety into emotional dependence. And dependence kills attraction. That's why you need the second invisible switch, the tension trigger. This second switch activates when a man feels that your presence is valuable and uncertain at the same time. It's the emotional tension that keeps him alert, curious, and invested. It's not about playing games. It's about maintaining a sense of mystery, a quiet confidence that says, "You don't have full access to me until you earn it." The male brain is wired for pursuit. From a biological and psychological perspective, men feel most alive when they're striving towards something. Whether it's a career goal, a challenge, or a woman they admire, it's the process of earning that creates meaning for them. So when a woman gives everything too soon, constant availability, affection, validation, his pursuit mechanism shuts down. He feels like there's nothing left to discover. And when there's nothing to discover, his focus fades. But when you combine warmth with unpredictability, when he never quite knows what version of you he'll get that day, the playful one, the introspective one, the focused one, you awaken his curiosity. And curiosity is the seed of long-term attraction. Let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about embodying your full range as a woman. It's about showing that you have your own life, your own priorities, your own depth, and that being with you is a privilege, not an entitlement. When you live this way, something shifts in his subconscious. He feels both safe and challenged. He relaxes in your presence, but also wants to rise in your eyes. That's the emotional equilibrium men crave, even if they can't put it into words. Now, here's where most relationships fail. Many women only trigger one switch. Some make a man feel deeply understood, but too comfortable. Others make him feel intense desire, but no emotional connection. Only when both are activated does true emotional attachment form. If you only trigger the recognition trigger, he'll adore your kindness, but he'll see you more like emotional support than a romantic partner. You'll become the one who's always there, not the one he can't stop thinking about. If you only trigger the tension trigger, he'll feel excited, intrigued, and even addicted for a while, but the bond will be fragile. The moment he feels emotionally drained or uncertain, he'll pull away. Because a man might chase tension, but he stays for emotional grounding. That's why both triggers must coexist. Think of it as a dance, not between two people, but between two energies. The feminine energy of empathy and the feminine energy of self-worth. One opens his heart, the other keeps him chasing. When you say less but mean more, when you express affection but maintain boundaries, when you show compassion without losing your standards, that's when the dance becomes irresistible. Let's take a practical example. Imagine he's upset about work. A woman who doesn't understand male psychology might say, "You shouldn't let that bother you. You're amazing. Don't overthink it." That sounds supportive, but it actually invalidates his emotions. It tries to fix instead of recognize. The woman who triggers the recognition switch would say, "I get why that frustrated you. You worked hard on that, and it's annoying when people don't see it." She doesn't fix it, she validates it. He feels understood, not managed. Then, instead of lingering in that emotional space forever, she transitions with lightness, maybe changes the subject, brings humor, or gracefully ends the conversation to continue her day. That subtle shift reminds him that her world doesn't revolve around his moods. That's the tension trigger in action. She gave him comfort but kept her center. She offered connection without losing independence. And that's exactly what keeps a man emotionally addicted. Because here's the truth. Men don't stay where they feel controlled, and they don't leave where they feel both challenged and accepted. It's that duality. I can trust her, but I still need to earn her. That makes a man want to invest, commit, and protect. And once these two switches are on, they stay on. He doesn't just love you, he prioritizes you. He starts doing things you never had to ask for. Texting first, making plans, introducing you to people that matter to him. Not because you demanded it, but because his emotional world naturally organizes around you. You didn't convince him to love you. You allowed him to feel it. That's the invisible art of attraction. Not chasing, not proving, not fixing. Just understanding how his emotional operating system works and speaking directly to it with confidence, calmness, and self-respect. And when you master this, something profound happens. You stop fearing loss. You stop doubting your worth. You realize that love isn't about doing more, it's about being more. When you live in your truth, hold your boundaries, and connect with empathy instead of effort, you don't just trigger those invisible switches in a man, you awaken the kind of love that lasts. When you ignore these two invisible switches, everything in a man's behavior starts to feel confusing. He says he cares but doesn't act like it. He promises to call but disappears for days. He tells you you're special but keeps his options open. You start living in a constant state of emotional guessing, waiting for signs, overanalyzing texts, feeling high one day and invisible the next. The truth is, when these switches are left off, a man can like you deeply without ever falling in love with you. And that's what most women mistake as mixed signals. It's not confusion, it's absence of emotional activation. His heart never transitioned from interest to investment. At first you think you just need to be more patient. You tell yourself he's probably busy or he's been through a lot. You convince yourself that if you love him harder, he'll come around. But that's the trap. Because the more effort you give without emotional balance, the more you push him away, not out of rejection, but out of instinct. A man who doesn't feel both recognized and challenged loses polarity. He starts seeing you as safe, but not stimulating. He trusts you, but he doesn't crave you. You become emotionally important but romantically replaceable. And that's the most painful position to be in. When a man values you as a person but doesn't fight for you as a partner, you can always tell when this is happening. He starts to take longer to reply. He doesn't notice small things anymore. Conversations become shallow. His eyes lose that spark of curiosity. It's not because another woman showed up. It's because the emotional tension that keeps attraction alive faded away. And the more you try to restore it by chasing or proving, the deeper the imbalance becomes. Every time you reach out first, every time you explain what you bring to the table, every time you show him you'll always be there no matter what, you unknowingly teach him that your attention is guaranteed. And once something is guaranteed, it loses its value. That's why some women spend months, even years, in almost relationships. They give loyalty without commitment. They give intimacy without clarity. They keep hoping he'll wake up one day and realize what he has, not knowing that what he's missing isn't you. It's the feeling of pursuit, of earning you, of deserving your presence. When those invisible switches stay off, the dynamic flips. You start leading emotionally, and he follows. Reluctantly, inconsistently, only when convenient. You become the emotional anchor of the relationship, while he drifts in and out depending on his mood. And little by little, your self-worth begins to erode. You start questioning yourself. Am I too much? Am I not enough? What did I do wrong? But none of those questions are fair, because this isn't about being too much or not enough. It's about not knowing how to communicate with the male emotional system. Men fall in love through a process that's both primal and emotional. First, they feel the challenge, the pull of curiosity and admiration. Then they feel the recognition, the peace of being seen and accepted. When you remove either, you remove his path to attachment. The urgency is this. Every day that passes with those switches turned off, you reinforce a version of the relationship where you give and he receives. And once that pattern becomes familiar, it's very hard to reverse. He'll get used to your effort. He'll get used to your emotional labor. He'll start believing that you'll always forgive, always wait, always try harder, and his mind will adapt. He'll subconsciously stop investing because there's no longer a reason to. That's why some men suddenly seem to wake up only after you've moved on. When you pull away, their emotional tension reignites. They start to feel your absence. That small gap, that uncertainty, flips the switch again. But by then, you're exhausted. You don't want to reach that point. You don't want to love someone so hard that you forget how to love yourself. You don't want to spend months trying to convince someone to value what they once fought to have. You deserve to be the woman who's chosen, not the one who has to remind him why he should choose you. So here's the truth you need to remember. When you activate these two invisible triggers early, recognition and tension, you never have to chase love. You never have to over-explain your worth. Because the right man, when emotionally awakened, will show you his intentions. He'll initiate conversations. He'll protect the connection. He'll ask deeper questions. He'll listen differently. Because when a man feels those two switches on, his brain starts associating you with emotional growth. He doesn't just love you, he becomes better because of you. That's why time matters. The longer you try to hold on to a man who isn't emotionally triggered, the harder it becomes to reset his perception. You can't rebuild attraction through logic, explanation, or sacrifice. You can only rebuild it through emotional recalibration, through restoring that delicate balance between warmth and mystery, connection and space. Because at the end of the day, men don't remember every woman they've dated, but they never forget the one who made them feel both safe and challenged at the same time. The one who made them step up. The one who awakened something real. So the question is, are you going to keep waiting for him to change? Or are you going to change the energy that surrounds you? Because once you master that, love stops being chaos and starts being choice. When you truly understand how these two invisible switches work, everything about love begins to look different. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, and you stop settling for half-hearted effort. Because now, you finally see what real connection feels like. Not confusion, not mixed signals, but calm certainty. You'll notice it in the smallest ways. When a man pulls away, you won't panic, you'll stay composed because you understand that silence doesn't mean rejection. It's simply a space for tension to rebuild. When he goes quiet, you won't fill the silence with words or explanations. You'll let mystery speak for you. When he tests your boundaries, you won't break, because you know that every time you hold your line with grace, his respect grows stronger. That's the quiet power of a woman who knows how to speak to a man's emotions without saying much at all. Men fall in love not with perfection, but with presence. Not with effort, but with energy. The energy of a woman who makes them feel both safe and inspired. A woman who doesn't demand but commands attention simply by being. This kind of feminine strength doesn't come from being hard. It comes from balance. From knowing when to give and when to hold back. From understanding that your softness is not weakness and your silence is not emptiness. It's awareness. It's control. It's mastery. When a man meets a woman like that, he feels something he can't quite name. His mind calms down, but his heart speeds up. He feels peace and passion in the same breath, and that combination is unforgettable. Because every man, deep down, is searching for that equilibrium. He doesn't want chaos, but he doesn't want predictability either. He wants to feel anchored but still intrigued. That's why the women who know how to balance connection with mystery stay in his mind forever. You've probably seen it before. The man who forgets everyone else but keeps thinking about her. The woman he couldn't replace even when he tried. The one he describes as different. What made her different wasn't luck or looks. It was how she made him feel. She didn't convince him to love her. She allowed him to experience love in its purest form, freedom mixed with devotion. And that's the gift of understanding these invisible triggers. You stop needing validation because you already know how to create emotional gravity. You stop worrying about whether he'll stay because you know that what you offer isn't disposable. You become the kind of woman who inspires effort, not through pressure, but through presence. The kind of woman whose energy demands consistency without a single word. So from now on, remind yourself, you never need to run after love. The moment you step fully into your worth, love starts running toward you. Because a man might desire many women, but he will devote himself only to the one who awakens both peace and passion within him. Be that woman, the one who doesn't ask to be chosen. She is the choice. The one who knows her value so deeply that she doesn't compete, compare, or chase. She simply attracts what matches her energy. And when you embody that, everything changes. Conversations feel easier. Relationships feel lighter. You no longer measure your worth through someone's response because your self-respect becomes your compass. Remember, The woman who is calm, grounded, and mysterious at the same time doesn't fear losing anyone because she knows that the right man will never risk losing her. That's your new standard. Not love that drains you, but love that expands you. Not attention that fades, but presence that deepens. When you carry that energy, the world responds differently. People listen more, men notice more, opportunities open, because confidence, quiet, graceful, authentic confidence, is magnetic. You don't have to change who you are to be loved. You just have to remember who you were before you started trying so hard. Because the moment you return to that version of yourself, the woman who is soft but strong, open but grounded, loving but free, that's the moment you become unforgettable. And when that happens, he doesn't just fall in love with you, he stays in love with you.